What is up, everyone? Today I simulated the next 5 years of the NFL using Retro Bowl. So here are the rules. I have to start off with a random team, and I have to simulate every game. Of course, as a head coach, they'll probably be trying to make the best decisions for their team. So that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying to make the best decisions. Now, for the first year, the first seed was the Cincinnati Bengals. Then the other playoff teams were the Houston Texans, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins. Now, for the first round, which was the Houston Texans versus the LA Chargers, the Houston Texans actually end up winning. For the second one, the Las Vegas versus Baltimore, Baltimore won that game. And for the Buffalo and Miami, Buffalo, of course, won that game. For the divisional round, Baltimore and Cincinnati went at it again, and no surprise, Cincinnati won. In the Houston Texans versus the Buffalo Bills game, the Houston Texans actually won. And then for the AFC Championship, Cincinnati beat the Houston Texans and went to the Super Bowl. No surprise there. Now, the first seed for the NFC was the San Francisco 49ers. And the other teams were the Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints, the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, for the first round of Dallas versus New Orleans, Dallas won. I expected that. Green Bay and Los Angeles Rams, the Los Angeles Rams actually won that. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay actually won that. For the divisional rounds, the Los Angeles Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers win. And then for Dallas versus Tampa Bay actually wins this one. And then for the NFC Championship, Tampa Bay versus San Francisco, Tampa Bay actually wins this one. Surprised because I heard they're losing Brady, but it's just what Retro Bowl is predicting. And then the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go at it in the Super Bowl, with Cincinnati coming out on top. I know it's not showing it here, but they won. For the first game, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans, Houston won 28-17. Baltimore versus Las Vegas, Baltimore won 33-21. And then for Miami versus Buffalo, Buffalo won 49-34. For the first wild card match of the NFC, Dallas beat New Orleans 24-23. For the second one, the Los Angeles Rams beat Green Bay 38-17, and Tampa Bay beat Minnesota 23-16. For the first AFC divisional round, Baltimore versus Cincinnati, Cincinnati won 26-20. For the second AFC divisional round, Houston won 47-24. And for the first NFC playoff round, the San Francisco won 37-21. For the second NFC divisional round, Dallas lost to Tampa Bay 20-30. For the AFC Championship, Cincinnati won 47-23. And then for the NFC Championship, Tampa Bay won 31-22. I don't think anyone was expecting that. And then for the Retro Bowl, Cincinnati won 41-23. I'm still surprised Tampa Bay went to the Super Bowl without Brady, but this is how it ended, with Cincinnati winning. So this was the 2022-2023 season predicted, or 2023-2022, sorry. 2023-2024, sorry. For the 2024-2025 seasons, the first seed was again Cincinnati. The other teams were the Houston Texans again, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Denver Broncos, and the New England Patriots. Now, the first wildcard round, the Houston Texans beat the Baltimore Ravens to go on to the division round. For the Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Chargers, the Buffalo Bills won. Again, that's not really surprising. Denver and New England ended up winning. I kind of thought Denver would have won, but seems like Retro Bowl disagrees. In the divisional round, the New England Patriots lose and Cincinnati beat Bengals, which I expected. And then Buffalo actually beats Houston this time around, which is good development. And then for the championship, Buffalo ends up losing and Cincinnati goes to its third this was second in the prediction, but if they win this season, then it'd be third. For the NFC, the first seed was the San Francisco 49ers again. The other teams were the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, the Green Bay Packers, and the Dallas Cowboys. For the first game, Philadelphia versus Chicago, Philadelphia wins. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans, Tampa Bay wins. And then Green Bay versus Dallas, Green Bay wins. Now, for the division round, San Francisco beats Philadelphia. Green Bay Packers actually beat Tampa Bay. And then San Francisco beats Green Bay. And then San Francisco wins the Super Bowl. For the first wildcard round, the Houston Texans beat the Baltimore Ravens 36-31. Buffalo beat the Chargers 24-20. And then New England beat Denver 30-17. For the first NFC wildcard round, Philadelphia beat the Chicago Bears 23-21. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat New Orleans 33-19. And then Green Bay beat Dallas 26-23. Now, keep in mind that even though I was playing as the Chicago Bears, every game was simulated, so it's fair. For the first AFC divisional, Cincinnati beats New England 23-43. Buffalo beats Houston 31-10. And then for the first NFC divisional round, Philadelphia loses 26-44. For the second divisional round in the NFC, Green Bay beats Tampa Bay 29-26. In the AFC champion, Cincinnati beats Buffalo 27-20. And in the NFC champion, San Francisco beats Green Bay 19-33. Another great season by Cincinnati, but they ended their run to the San Francisco 49ers. This is the 2024-25 season prediction from Retro Bowl. For the 2025-2026 year, Baltimore Ravens are actually the first seed of the AFC, with the other teams being the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Jaguars, the Steelers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and then Cincinnati. The Buffalo beat the Chargers. Chargers can never make it past the wild card round, I guess. Pittsburgh beats Jacksonville. And then, in a surprising turn of events, Las Vegas beats Cincinnati for the first AFC divisional round. Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, which is, I didn't expect that. But Buffalo beats the Las Vegas Raiders, which I thought if Las Vegas beat Cincinnati, would have been able to beat Buffalo. But then for the championships game, it's Pittsburgh versus Buffalo. Buffalo ends up winning that. And for the NFC, the first seed was the Dallas Cowboys. The other teams were Tampa Bay, the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, the 49ers, Green Bay, and the Chicago Bears. Tampa Bay beats the Seahawks. Rams beat the 49ers, and then Green Bay beats Chicago. In the divisional rounds, Dallas is beaten by Tampa Bay for the second year in a row. Green Bay beats the Rams for a Bay NFC championship, and then Green Bay ends up beating them. In the Retro Bowl, Green Bay versus Buffalo, Buffalo actually wins. I hope Josh Allen is still playing, because if it does come true, I do want him to get a ring. For the first wild card, we have the Chargers versus the Buffaloes. Buffaloes win 23-22, closer than I thought. Pittsburgh beats Jacksonville 37-27. And then for the final wild card AFC, Cincinnati loses 13-30. For the first NFC wild card, Seattle loses 19-40. In the second NFC wild card, the Rams win in a surprising 43-17 blowout. And then for the final wild card, Green Bay beats the Chicago Bears 10-20. For the first AFC divisional round, Pittsburgh beats Baltimore 37-24. For the second divisional round of the AFC, Buffalo beats Las Vegas 37-20. And for the first NFC divisional, Tampa Bay beats Dallas 33-3. In the second NFC divisional round, Green Bay wins 44-19. In the AFC Championship, Pittsburgh loses 30-31. And in the NFC Championship, Green Bay loses 38-52. That is a larger landslide than I thought it was going to be. Now for the Super Bowl, Green Bay loses 30-36, which gives Buffalo its first ring, and that is it for the 2025 to 2026 season. For the 2026 to 2027 season, the first seed for the AFC is actually the Chargers, and the other teams are the Colts, the Dolphins, Buffalo, the Broncos, the Ravens, and then the Browns. This is actually the first season that Retro predicts Cincinnati does not go to the playoffs. For the first wildcard round, they believe the Colts win. For Buffalo versus Denver, Buffalo wins. And then for Baltimore versus the Browns, the Baltimore wins. For the divisional rounds, the Chargers beat the Colts, and then Baltimore beats Buffalo. For the championship, the Chargers actually beat Baltimore. Now for the NFC, Tampa Bay is the first seed, and the other teams are the Chicago Bears, the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Los Angeles Rams, and then the Detroit Lions. For the first wild card, they believe the Chicago Bears beats the San Francisco 49ers. The New York Giants win to Dallas, and then the Rams beat Detroit. Now for the divisional round, they believe that New York Giants beat Tampa Bay, and then the Chicago Bears lose to the Rams. And in the championship, they believe the Giants win to the Rams. And in the Retro Bowl, they believe that the Giants actually pull it off for the 2026-2027 season. For the first wild card, the Minnesota Vikings lose to the Colts 43-40. For the second wild card, Buffalo beats Denver 41-26. And in the last AFC wild card, Baltimore beats Cleveland 50-20. That is a huge blowout. For the first NFC wild card, San Francisco loses to the Chicago Bears 20-13. Dallas loses to New York Giants 40-12. And then the Detroit Lions lose to the Rams 28-19. The biggest surprise here is the first one. For the first AFC divisional round, the Colts lose to the Chargers 54-31 actually. It's kind of hard to see from here. Baltimore beats Buffalo 33-24. And then for the first NFC divisional round, the Giants win 27-23. For the second NFC divisional round, the Rams beat the Chicago Bears 21-14. For the AFC Championship, the Chargers beat Baltimore 20-9. And for the NFC Championship, the Giants beat the Rams 23-21. And the Retro Bowl, the Giants win 27-16 over the Chargers. That was a surprising year. I didn't think the Chargers could make it that far, nor the Giants. I knew they were decent teams, but they probably get some new players. And that was it for the 2026 to 2027 NFL season. For the 2027 to 2028 season, which is the last season we're simulating, the first seed for the AFC was the Miami Dolphins. The other teams were the Colts, Buffalo, Cincinnati is back in the playoffs, the Broncos, the Chargers, and then the Baltimore Ravens. For the first wild card, Colts beat Buffalo, actually. This is kind of surprising. Cincinnati beats Denver, not as surprising. And then the Baltimore beats Chargers. For the first divisional round, Baltimore beats Miami, and Cincinnati beats the Colts. And Cincinnati beats the Baltimore Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. Now for the NFC, the first seed was the Rams, actually. The other teams were Dallas, Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, Tampa Bay, and San Francisco. For the first NFC round, Minnesota beats Dallas. For the second one, the Green Bay Packers beat Chicago. And then for the third one, Tampa Bay beats San Francisco. For the first divisional round, Minnesota beats the Rams, and Green Bay beats Tampa Bay. And for the NFC Championship, Minnesota beats Green Bay, And then the Retro Bowl was Cincinnati versus Minnesota, and Minnesota wins it all. This season kind of surprised me. Minnesota seemed like that team that would good in the regular season, but not really good in the after season, after being beat by the New York Giants this season. And we'll see how things play off after this. Let me tell you all the details. For the first AFC wildcard, Buffalo loses 18-37. For the second AFC wildcard, Denver loses 6-30. And then for the final AFC wildcard, Baltimore wins 41-14. That is a blowout. For the first NFC wildcard, Minnesota beats Dallas 34-13. For the second one, Green Bay beats the Chargers 23-17. And for the final one, San Francisco loses to Tampa Bay 10-17. San Francisco really falls off in the later years. For the first AFC divisional round, Baltimore beats Miami 20-19. That was a very close game. For the second AFC divisional round, the Colts lose to Cincinnati 13-24. And then for the first NFC divisional round, Minnesota beats the Rams 24-19. For the second NFC divisional round, Green Bay beats Tampa Bay 39-23. For the AFC Championship, Cincinnati beats Baltimore 27-24. And then for the NFC Championship, Minnesota beats Green Bay 37-7. Also, sorry for the volume thing. I don't know about that. The Super Bowl is actually won by Minnesota 47-21, which is very, very surprising. You can see I did not think they could beat Cincinnati by that much. So that is it for the 2027 to 2028 season. So guys, that was Retro Bowl predicting the next 5 NFL years. Me, myself, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I'm kind of disappointed they still haven't made it to the NFC Championship. The winners are the Cincinnati Bengals, the San Francisco 49ers, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, and the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, some of those I didn't. The most surprising one was Minnesota to me. Now, if y'all guys liked the video, please like and subscribe. And this is Victor, logging off.